Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors, your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. I'm glad you're here this morning. Got a big show lined up. Got some good pictures and video, and we'll get started with our weather brought to us by Haney Technical Center at the corner of Baldwin Road and Highway 77. Today's the first day in July that I've actually going to sit here and predict the air temperature getting up to 90 degrees. It hadn't hit 90 the whole month of July, but now they're saying it may hit 90 today. We'll wait and see. It's going to be a low of 78, and the water temperature stays at 84 degrees. Okay, marine forecast be coming out northeast about 4 miles per hour. Our river readings. Take a look at our river readings. Right here you have the Apalachicola Bluntstown is finally starting to fall out, and it's going to be a slow fall too, but it's reading right at 15 foot, and by the weekend, it's still going to be in flood stage. It may get down to 12 foot by the weekend, but it's just starting to fall a little bit. The Choctahatchee at Carrollville, same story here. It's level off. It's not going to start falling until about Thursday. It's reading right at 13 foot, but it's going to make a sharp fall for the weekend. Now it's going to really fall out strong Friday and Saturday. For the river fishermen, that's going to be a lot of stuff going on now. Tide chart. Take a look at our tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn Funeral Home and Cemetery. All right, today's high tide is at 5:09 a.m. and low tide is at 5:38. You look on the screen there, and it's today is Wednesday, the 17th, and we're finally getting back into some good tides. And the next 3 days now will be some really strong tides. I'm talking about afternoon tides that are really falling out. So our tide situation is really good. All right. That takes care of our weather, but let's go ahead and take our blue water outrigger every month. On Wednesdays, we like to call Captain Blair Morgan. Good morning, Blair.
Good morning, Winston. How you doing?
We're doing well. What's going on down at the Cape and Apalachicola Bay and St. Joe Bay?
Well, it's been raining about every day.
Up here too.
I tell you what, we've had plenty of rain, that's for sure. But out here in St. Joe Bay, the trout bite is still real good, just early in the morning, late in the afternoon. And of course, there's a bunch of people out here scalloping, and there's quite a few scallops, but they still awfully small.
Yeah, that's right.
And hopefully people will just get what they want to eat for a mess, and leave the other ones, let them grow up a little bit.
Yeah. That's true. We've talked about that over and over again on the show, and a lot of people keep on going though. But I can understand people going out there one time, but I don't see going back on trip 2, 3, and 4 until about August. So that's sort of what we're doing. But anyway, I know you said trout bite's good. What about? I know the surf's been pretty stirred up. Not a lot of surf fishing going on now.
No, I tell you what, the surf, it's really kind of muddy off the beaches right now as well. And, actually, I had a trip. We went out in the bay yesterday, went around the point, on the Gulf side, on the buoy line side of the point, and there's all the ladyfish and bluefish and Spanish and all you want to catch over there. I mean,
good.
You can catch a bunch of stuff over there, but and of course, and we saw quite a few tarpon rolling too yesterday out there.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, and there was quite a few people fishing tarpon. The triple tail, they've been good over around Indian Pass, and they've got the Apalachicola Bay closed for oystering right now, so oysters are hard to come by right now over here.
Yeah, I guess it's pretty muddy over there.
It's really muddy over there, and I haven't heard anything about freshwater fishing because, like you said, the river's real high, so I don't know. The weather's just not been real good for fishing. Of course, I got offshore snapper fishing this week. It was last Thursday, I guess, before it closed. And, we had a lemon snapper, and the smallest one weighed about 12 pounds, the biggest one weighed 16 pounds, so they're still out there.
Yeah, that's been a story over and over again. There's been some really good catches of red snapper. It's been a good season.
Yeah, I mean, they were beautiful red snapper.
Yeah.
And, there's still plenty of them, and now it's closed for the year. So I don't
maybe, keep our fingers crossed. We may get a little short fall season, so we'll wait and see.
Yeah, maybe so.
All right. Blair, that's a good report, buddy. Sounds good out there at the end of the Cape.
All right. Well, y'all have a good one.
All right. See you later, buddy. All
Okay.
Right. All right, folks, we'll take our break and be right back with our guest. All right, welcome back and welcome to Divers Den, Bob Stapleton. Good morning.
Good morning. Good to be here.
Glad to have you. I know you've been out a while doing different things.
Yeah, out and about and doing different things, but back into the diving now. Things are in full swing with the diving. The water's finally warmed up enough.
This is the first thing we want to talk about, water conditions.
Well, I was really disappointed on of course, we lost a lot of business at the 1st of July with all the rain and everything. Everybody did, but I was disturbed that it would be really dirty water for quite some time before it cleaned up. But it is cleared up pretty quickly. I mean, now it's great.
Yeah.
I was out Saturday and Sunday. That fresh water that's coming out of the bay, pouring out of the bay, it floats, so it's on top. So even though if you get out 3 or 4 miles, even though it might look brown on the top, once you break down through it, only 5 or 10 feet deep, it's clear. It's nice.
So about a layer, 5 or 10 foot.
Yeah, and then it opens up real nice. So Sunday, where we were, only 4 or 5 miles out, it was 30, 40-foot visibility. Saturday, it was 25, 30-foot visibility, which is good. It'll get better if we don't get flood and rains, but that's nice visibility. It's good for...
That's good to hear. A lot of us didn't realize, it floated. We knew it floated, but I didn't know how far down it went.
Yeah, and I don't know that all those nutrients that are getting pumped in out there aren't really helping those bait fish. I mean, it is thick with bait fish. The visibility was good if you were outside the bait ball, but I like to get on all of these structures if the bait gather up to them. I was looking, mostly it was cigar minnows. There was a group of them that were maybe 6 or 8 inches long, and then the masses of them that were 2 inches long.
Yeah.
And there was 2 different hatchings, I guess, and they were really thick. And if you get up on the top side of the bait ball, outside of it, it's kind of hard to do because the bait keeps following you.
Yeah.
The Spanish mackerel and the bonita smashing into them. It's fun to watch that.
Well, a lot of people are saying they're not seeing a lot of bait fish right now. One of those fresh water just sort of holding them down or something.
Maybe it's holding them down. Probably not.
I'm talking about on the surface.
Yeah, no, I didn't. I hadn't. Well, I don't look for them that much.
Yeah, but a lot of the bait guys are going out live bait fishing.
Yeah, I'm sure that's a problem because where we're seeing them is not on the surface but down.
Right, and I think that's where they are right now. Good point. But the temperature and all been good, or you got
warmed up real nice, t-shirt diving weather.
Oh, you like that?
Yeah, well, yeah, I like that. I like that. Yeah.
Okay, well, look, we got a lot of video, so let's go and take a quick break and come back and show you some of this good video Bob brought. All right, welcome back. Now, before we get into the video, we're going to look at some of these guns, and you brought some powerful-looking guns.
Well, if you're spearfishing in the Gulf around here, we have big fish. I mean, most places where people spearfish, they're after fish the size you find up in dead lakes or something. But around here with the amberjack, cobia, nice snapper, grouper, you need something that's big enough to secure the fish. I mean, if you're spearfishing in the bay, of course, you're mullet or a flounder or something, you don't want a big gun like this. But this is the type of gun that you need. I got a couple of them here to show. This is
heavy duty.
Yeah, these. Yeah, it's got all of them work basically the same way. This one has 3 5/8 inch bands. They're cut or made to the length that it gives it about 200% stretch to get down to the notches. So you pull the bands down, hook them in the notches.
Which knot? How do you decide which knot you're going to use?
Well, you put the first band in the first, second in the second, and the third in the third. Yeah.
They're in order. Okay.
Yeah, they can. You don't stack them up front to back so that you can get to the grooves to hook them in. So that's what gives you the power. The tip is pretty important. It needs to be very sharp, as maybe you can see this is.
Yes.
And those floppers, when they open up, of course, hang the fish on it. And this has the added advantage of after you hit the fish, hopefully it goes all the way through, and then this is spread on the other side, opposite side of the fish. And since it's got that cable there, the fish can't get leverage on it and work a big hole in them and break loose.
I see.
So that's very useful. There's a
that's nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's one method, and then they're different, all kinds of different points. And then when you fire the gun and the shaft releases, you can see this line drops away. There's a keeper for the line back here. So the shaft. Some people shoot the shaft, just turn it loose and let it go. and they really do let it go because they lose a lot of shafts doing that.
Yeah.
But I like to stay tied to it. I don't use exactly this kind of line on mine, but you see it has a slide that comes back and allows the shaft to go to the fish, and then you're tied to the fish with your gun. A shock cord, because if somebody were to miss, it wouldn't be me, but if somebody did, then when the spear's still moving pretty fast when it hits the end, that just gives it some cushion so it doesn't jam things up. So, and then of course, the trigger end, and there's a safety here that you can put on so the trigger won't pull or release it. Like nice. Any gun, the safety's yourself, not the mechanical system. But yeah, this is a JBL gun. This would be very adequate for shooting fish in the Gulf. It's not the Cadillac model, but it's totally adequate. I've used a gun almost identical to this for many years and killed a lot of fish with it. But now I've just put on order this gun, which is pretty. I mean, it's nice. Yeah, that is and it's more than just pretty. It still has the same size bands, basically the same length shaft. You're hooking and pulling and stretching the bands about the same amount, so the power is similar. There's less drag because this one, the shaft rides inside a track, so it's down in a barrel, so to speak, which keeps the shaft from flexing when the bands pull on it really hard at first, so it's more accurate. And a little different. I didn't, at first, until I started using these, I was a little suspicious of just a single flopper holding the fish because it can get leverage. But I shoot a gun similar to this, and it holds good and tight. There's no issue with that.
But, point, everything.
Yeah. Now this gun is, you would guess, more expensive, and you'd guess right because of the workmanship that goes into it. And when they make these guns, I've talked to the guy that builds them. He puts them in a tank, floats them in water, and makes sure they're balanced just right. It might feel pretty heavy to you as it sits here now, but in the water it's almost neutrally buoyant. Yeah. And when the shaft is out of it, the gun will float.
Oh, good. Yeah.
So
what kind of wood is that?
This is teak.
Teak. Wow.
Now we have some at the shop. There's teak, which is a common wood for using. As you know, it's very water resistant, although it's coated very well, so shouldn't be an issue. They make one out of Paduke, which is a red exotic wood, and the one I ordered is going to be made of mahogany. So,
so different kind of woods.
Different kind of woods. And they paint them sometimes paint them up pretty. Well, but the same basic idea. It's on a line shaft, so you release the line, it sticks the fish.
And y'all got these down at Divers Den?
Got them at the shop at the beach.
In stock.
The beach shop in stock. And if there was something special, if you wanted special length or something, you could special order it if you wanted to. But he's got them from 48 to 60 inches, I think. This one is about the right size. I'd say this is a 52-inch gun, if you can see the size of that. But that would be big enough to secure any fish that might swim by.
As big as I want to shoot, right?
Yeah. No, I wouldn't pass up shooting any fish if I was holding this gun at the right range. I mean, you need to be at a close range.
All right, good job. All right, let's take our final break. We got a video coming up. All right, let's get started with the fish and game forecast. I'm just going to hold it up right here. Brought to us by Mark Coward of Edgewater Beach Realty. Our times, we're looking at 7:42 this morning, 7:42 to 9:42, and this evening from 8:10 to 10:10. Right there, those 2 blocks of time, 2-hour blocks of time. Now, let's go ahead and get into this video. Just tell us what's going on here, Bob.
Well, this is just some random clips I selected for today, and I hope they aren't some that we've shown before, but there's a little bit of spearfishing here. This particular shot here, unfortunately, I wasn't right on the money and get a picture of him shooting the fish, but this is one of our customers. The Recreation has a license for 10 fishermen, so if somebody were to come down and there were spear fishermen, they wouldn't have to get an out-of-state license to do this. He got a good shot on that barracuda, shot it through the head. It was probably inappropriate for me to come over and help him because this guy's an experienced spear fisherman. Dave, he dives with us a lot, and he definitely didn't need any help, but I got right in the middle of it. You can see my camera's there in the middle of what's going on. But
What kind of structure is that behind it?
This is one of the bridge spans.
Okay.
This is where you lose all your tackle when you fish on it. I can pick up all your leads that you want. And your anchor, it'll go in one side and out the other side. You'll never get it up. You can't juke it up and down and get it loose or anything. Let's see what else we got interesting on here. This is just some...
All right.
Here's something here's some red snapper. And I had a fish on my stringer, and these snapper were kind of smelling it and following me up. It obviously wasn't seasoned, or either I had up my limit already. I think it wasn't. So I started ripping parts and pieces off the fish I had and drifting it down. And
oh, man. See how aggressive they are out there?
That's what it feels like when they bite, doesn't it? I mean, you see why it's a hard hit when they bite, because that's how they feed. They snatch it. And I guess that's why they call them snapper. Now here's a Goliath grouper, a small one. The perspective is such that it still looks big, but when I say small, he's maybe 80, 100 pounds. For around here, it's...
Wow.
But I got some good video of him.
That fish is so ugly, it's almost pretty.
Yeah. Well, this one has some beautiful camouflage to him. He was lit up real nice, had some nice color to him. He hung around there. He was pretty unperturbed by us being there. Maybe he was waiting on me to do something and get him a fish.
He thought you were going to feed him.
Here you go. This is, I don't normally get flounder this way. You see it, don't you?
I see it, but man, that's hard to see.
That flounder had already moved once, and it was a nice sized flounder. Usually I just poke them without even shooting them.
That's a good shot, right? That's you shot?
Yeah, but I shot that one just so he wouldn't go away.
Good, that's some good eating right there.
Yeah, see how his color changed when I shot him? He just lit up.
How big is he?
Oh, that was 16 inches probably. It was a good 16, 18 inches. He was good size. And that old Goliath saying, you could drop that over here. I'd take it. That'd be all right. I'll handle that for you.
Now, you still at a bridge span?
No, this is, they're spans, those steel girdered spans, and decks. These are the concrete decks. I think this is what they call the site you'll have on your listing will say blown up barge, which is these decks in one area, and then about 40 yards off to the north of these are two frames of some barge. So it's actually two sites located pretty close together. Now when you see it, this is where I look for flounder. If I see little minnows close to the bottom, the flounder, that's where the flounder got to eat, that's where he goes. And by golly, there was one there.
Good shot again.
Yeah, like I said, I normally just stick him. That one I just jabbed it through his head. And see, I didn't even fire the weapon.
Didn't fire it, you just stuck it down there.
Yeah, I just stuck it in him, which works just fine. And then this summer so far, we haven't had any problems with jellyfish. Last year, to see a jellyfish or a few jellyfish is never any problem. I was just videoing this one to look at it. But sometimes they get really thick schools. And then even though it's warm, you might want to wear a full skin, a covering. You got gloves on, and the only thing that's exposed would be just your lips. And I put my hand over my mouth going down through them when they're really thick.
Really?
But they'll usually be in layers. Sometimes I can see them on the bottom machine when I'm driving the boat. It was kind of a blue cloud. And they'll, like I said, they aren't often out there, but when they are, they're usually patchy and you can avoid them. Right. There was a Goliath. Here, I want to show you a quick shot of this. We thought we had the world's biggest shark on. This thing was pulling. Because we'll catch a shark between dives sometimes just for something fun to do. We'd put a whole bonita head down. There was a cutting board. There's my buddy Matt pulling on him. That's a stout rod with a 6/0 on it, and we'd been leaning on this thing for 15 or 20 minutes.
So you had something big then?
I knew it was real big.
Yeah, you could tell with that rod.
Yeah. Look at that. Putting that kind of pressure on a fish for a long time, and look what pops up.
What is that?
It's one of those Goliath grouper.
Oh, no.
That's the first one I've ever caught. Usually you cannot catch them because they'll wrap around the bridge and break you off. But this one, he was out away from the bridge enough that and he didn't swim back to the bridge. He swam away from the bridge. So, but he held it down for a while.
How big do you think he was?
I don't know how to judge a fish that big. I never caught a fish that big. I'd say 200, 250 pounds.
I would too.
He really, to me, looked bigger we have some snapshots of it too. That doesn't do justice to size. That's a big old motor. That's a 300 Suzuki. So,
oh, yeah.
I mean, it's, but anyway, it was fun catching him. I was a little concerned about him because when we turned him loose, he floated like that on the surface. And I have a vent tool, but I really was hoping I wouldn't have to stab him in the side to let the air out. I mean, I would have gone in and done it or sent DJ in.
Yeah.
But he eventually got up next to the boat and was able to get some leverage on the boat and went back down.
Now, how deep of water were y'all in?
We were on one of the inshore spans. So it was 70 feet of water.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah,
they're on almost all of the inshore structures. I was diving Sunday. I was on bridge span 14. There were two there that are, both of them were bigger than this one. I mean, they were monsters.
Well, that made a pretty good little comeback then. You know,
there's a good many of them around. Down in South Florida, you see a lot of smaller ones. When you look at videos of people diving reefs and places down there, a lot of them. I got other stuff on here to show. I think there's another spearfishing shot since we're talking about spearfishing. On this, this was a dolphin that was very uncommon for them to come around when you're on scuba, but it was curious and just swimming around looking at us as I got in. So I videoed that dolphin a little bit. When you're on just snorkeling, you know, free diving, they're much more likely to come up around you and interact with you. But this one was just, I don't know, just looking around. So I watched him a minute and thought, and there were some barracudas around. I thought, well, I wonder what he'll do if I shoot a barracuda. So let's see, somewhere on here, if I can find, there's about the right spot. So there's this barracuda there, and you can see how the gun works.
Oh.
I shot him. And you can see if you don't break their back, those bubbles streaming out of him, I must have punctured his swim bladder, because that's why he's leaking. But I'm letting him hang out there a little bit just to see what the dolphin's going to do, but he wasn't that much interested in it. Anyway, that's the general idea of how spearfishing works. There. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for bringing us some really good video, as always. And driver den, lessons anytime, and all
kinds of lessons anytime.
Okay.
If you're in a hurry, you can get it in 3 days on a weekend. So, but having fun, good time to be diving.
All right, buddy. We'll see you next month.
Okay.
All right, folks. Again, thank y'all for watching Panhandle Outdoors. Appreciate your viewership. You do something good for somebody today, and God bless.
Thanks for joining us for Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors features hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.